This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruise and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruise and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio. We also stream live every day at ustream.tv. This is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. And if you want to give us a call and join our conversation, we'd love to have you. You can reach us at 347-857-3958. Again, that number is 347-857-3958. Irv, how was your day today, sir?
Had a great day today, man. Always a great day to be in your own business. Isn't that true?
Hey, it's better than working for anybody any day of the week.
It's just better than working for anybody else. Somebody's got a brick hanging over your head. The alarm clock dragged you out of bed when you didn't want to get out, and guess what, man? It's just great to be in business for yourself, even on a bad day.
I think so. I mean, my worst day in business for myself is always better than my best day working for someone else. And those are some of the things that we talk about on this show. We want everyone to feel that way about their business. And, it sort of takes me back to a lesson that you gave in being in business when you talked about what happened in 2008 to everyone in finance.
Right.
And I think that it's a testament to the fact that you are still in financing.
Absolutely.
I mean, you love what you do.
That's correct.
And you're so committed to it that even a downturn in the economy couldn't turn you away from it.
Right.
And in lieu of what's happening with the banking industry worldwide right now.
Right now, that's right.
You're still in banking.
That's exactly right, and I appreciate that. I believe when you find your place, folks, whatever that place is, that's where you stay, and that's where you belong. Now, of course, you've got to adapt, you've got to adjust, you've got to improve, you've got to learn to do better at what you're doing. You've got to certainly be smarter. You've got to advance your agenda, as it were. Mm-hmm. But do you leave your passion? I don't think so.
I don't think so as well. I had a friend of mine who posted something on Facebook that I reposted. I stole from him, sort of like how I do you. I steal those nuggets that you put out there. But one of those things that he put out there are the things that are required of you to be successul. Mm-hmm. And that passion is one of those things. You just have to stay passionate about what you do. And if you're not, then do something else. Don't waste your time.
That's exactly right. And to add to that, don't let somebody take that away from you. If you're passionate about something, stay with it. An idea that you're passionate about is worth sticking to until it's been completely worked.
Absolutely.
And then if it turns out that it doesn't work, rework it.
Yeah.
Get you a new team, get you a new fresh outlook, and change your perspective on that thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But get back in it, stay in it, make that thing go.
Now, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about the new currency.
The new currency.
Yeah, did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's new currency out now.
Takes the place of money?
It takes the place of money.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's new currency.
And if I had to guess what the new currency is.
Yeah, what would you guess?
I would say people.
You would say people. I'm going to say what the new currency is. You ready for this? Y'all ready for this? It sounds like the old song. Y'all ready for this? No, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have gone there on this show. I'm so sorry. The new currency, trust.
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 Trust is the new currency.
Trust is the new currency.
Over money.
Over money. In fact, money has the word trust written on it.
In God we trust.
That's right. But it's a trust. Trust is the new currency.
Now, I would say people, but you know what? I want to listen to.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're probably going to bring home some points that would probably change my mind.
No, I'm not.
But
I'm just talking about, I can appreciate that, but I'm talking about, John, in 2012, really since 2008, we have seen the breaking, the shattering, if you will, of public trust.
I would agree with
in
that.
a bunch of industries.
On many levels,
Right.
economically,
Absolutely.
politically, absolutely. So I
Yeah.
believe that.
So when you look at what is going to be the driver for decision making when a person is in their own business, what is going to be that currency that they're going to have to spend up front? What will be the investment? What's going to be the currency that's going to drive sales, that's going to drive revenue, that's going to drive income, that's going to drive customer loyalty?
Hmm.
It's that currency is trust. And for a long time, we didn't have to talk about that. That was not something that you generally had to talk about. In business, you always have an element of society that's going to do things and say things that would be inflammatory.
Right.
There's always going to be somebody who's going to do or say something that what might be considered egregious.
Okay.
Okay, there's a criminal element of our society. There's a streak of larceny in just about everybody, but whether or not yours is under management is the question.
Well, and already just listening to what you're saying, I think that I can follow that because even if I am saying that people are the trust, or excuse me, people are the new currency, those people do have to first trust you.
They have to first trust, and therein lies the challenge, and that's what I wanted us to talk about today.
Well, you know what? Today is your topic, so let's jump on it. So now, if you're going to attack this topic, then what would be the first bullet point to drive home your thought?
I want to say, how are you going to build trust? If you're in a small business and you're the owner of a small business now, and you know or believe that trust is the new currency, how are you going to build that?
How are you going to get your customers to buy into?
Right.
Your investors
That's
to buy
right.
into.
That's right. How are you going
your employees
to
buy into?
Your partners.
Your partners
Your
to buy into.
Your partners, your alliance partners, your strategic alliances, your vendors, your everyone, your family. Wow.
Yeah.
There's
true.
one.
That's true. Absolutely.
A lot of spouses get into trouble when somebody decides that they're going to start their own business and trust becomes an issue. Now, I'm not talking about infidelity in a marriage or something like that, but what I am talking about is, are they going to be able to trust that you're not going to get completely out of balance forever?
Yeah.
And stay that way. Now, all of us who start businesses, let me back up a step here, John. All of us who start businesses, the day you start your business, you are going to be out of balance for a while.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You're going to be out of balance for a while. Is that going to become, though, your lifestyle? Is that going to be how things are going forward, like forever? Are you going to stay out of balance?
Hopefully not.
And you can break a trust with your spouse if they lose you in the business.
Surely.
And so the first thing is whether or not you've got an attitude where you are not going to stay out of balance.
Okay.
Okay. So you're gonna keep your life in balance. You're going to get back to it. You're going to be out of balance, but you have to have a promise somewhere. The people who are closest to you understand that, yes, you're going to be out of balance, folks, but you're going to be back. You're going to do this for a while, but you're going to get things wrestled into place where you can bring life back into balance, but better than it was before you started.
Well, now let's convert that to building trust, because I think that since you put it that the public trust has been taken for granted.
Absolutely.
And it has been shattered.
Sure.
So now how does a small business person, especially if you're new, now let's talk about how do you build trust when you have no you have no business. You're just starting out.
Yes.
How do I build trust? How do I get somebody to trust me enough to loan me money to come and work with me in my organization?
Right.
For me to be their leader in this opportunity.
Right.
How do I get the consumer to trust that we're going to provide a quality product? We're going to be here long enough that if something goes wrong, we'll answer to it. How do you do that?
Yeah, past performance. You got to have past performance references. You got to have references on the successes that you've had in the past. Somebody else, a third party who says, you know what, I was successful working with this guy. I was successful working with this business. I had success doing this. They did this for me or that for me. It worked out positively. You need to record, folks, those successes that you've had, those customer relationships, whether it's 1, 2, 10, or 1,000, doesn't matter. You need to have record of those folks, because those become your references. Those become how you can start to build trust in today's economy, in today's business environment. And you need those references, those third parties, those people who will vouch for you.
So that does carry weight.
It absolutely does carry weight. And if you do it in a way that a person who's trying to make a trust determination about your business can do it without your intervention. That means that they can perhaps Google you or find information about you that you're not present, you have no way to influence it, and they can see who that is who is that's saying that they would vouch for you in your work, in your career, in your character.
You know, and as I think about trust, I'm thinking that even if you're just starting out in business and if you're in a new business, it's still important to get people that you've worked with on some level, at some place before, to vouch for those characteristics that make a good business person, no matter what product you're selling, no matter what company you may be currently running or owning.
That's correct, John. It's vitally important that you do that. And folks, if you're just starting out in business, wherever you came from, whether it was a career, whether it was you had specialized training, those references do count toward building trust.
Trust is the new currency in 2012 and moving forward in the 21st century. We'll say trust is the new currency. Do you have that level of trust with your customers, with your employees, and with the people that you love most, your family? We're going to talk more about that when we return. You're listening to Cruise and Hughes and Small Business Today. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
This storm coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at svtmagazine.net. Here are your hosts, Cruise and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about trust, the new currency. So if you want to build your business, if you want to enjoy more success, you have to work on building that level of trust in your clients, in your employees, your investors, your bankers. So that trust has to be there. It has to be a component that's real and present in your business. How do you do that? Now, we just talked about the first bullet point, if you will.
Right.
And that one was?
Past performance references.
So you got to have past performance. Now, you know, I got to say this. So many people take past performance references, and you know what they do?
What's
they
that?
throw them on a website.
Yeah, right.
And that, to me, has absolutely no credibility whatsoever.
No, I think if you've done that, you've now weakened the impact of the reference.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was kind of getting at in the first segment, talking about you've got to have it where you've not had any influence on it.
Yeah.
Because putting it on a website, you could have skewed the wording. You could have said all kinds of things. You could,
and people do.
And people,
and I'm gonna tell you, most people, especially clients, I believe, don't give any credence or invest any faith,
right,
in what you put on your website, saying that these were customers of mine. They bought this. They bought this product or service.
Right.
And I don't believe that.
No, that's absolutely true. And that's what I'm getting at, is that those references need to be put into a platform where they can be read. People can respond to that without your intervention.
Let me give you a great platform. A great platform. Write this down. LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
The reason why I say that, and I encourage each of you watching or listening to this broadcast, go in and connect with me on LinkedIn. Put your referrals in LinkedIn, and the reason is because if I go in and I read all those recommendations about you, the type of professional that you are, the type of product or service that you sell, and I have the ability to connect with any one of those clients and really ask more questions about you.
Correct.
See, I only trust the LinkedIn stuff because you know, it's a real person. If I really wanted to connect and find out more information, I could befriend them, or I could send them an email and say, hey, you know, I understand that you bought a car from Erv Hughes. And,
that's right.
You know,
that's exactly right.
He's selling me one now, you know. So what was your experience like?
Well, exactly right. And you know what? The benefit in that, though, John, is if there is an evaluation done, a decision made from those references, and something anomalous happens.
Yeah.
Maybe the deal doesn't go very smoothly, even though that person did go and contact your references.
Yeah.
You know what? They can be confident that it was probably an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because now you didn't have anything to do with whatever the conversation was between your references and that person who was looking to get to a level of trust with you.
All right.
But now those other people, even though that deal might not have gone the way you'd hoped, but now other people can stand there and say, well, you know what? Whatever happened with you, that wasn't the case with me. I don't know him that way.
Right.
I don't know them that way. That was not my experience.
Well, the good thing about it is that you can go into LinkedIn and choose which recommendations that you allow to be seen on your site. So hopefully you'll put those ones up that best edify and show you as the type of professional that you are. But I do have to make the comment, Irv, that there are so many business people who are struggling and hustling and trying their best to make sales without having built that level of trust in the opposite party.
Right.
And imagine how powerful it is if you have 50 or so recommendations of great clients, and you're able to tell someone, look, I know that you're going to buy this product. I want you to consider buying it from me. I'm not going to sell you anything. Just read my LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to call you in the morning.
Well, that's exactly right. And I use my LinkedIn profile. I just send it. A lot of people, when we have speaking engagements and events and things like that, a lot of people want information about your background. I just send them my LinkedIn public profile, and here you go.
Yeah, this tells you all you need to know about
everything you need to know. You can check whatever you want to check. So
certainly.
So absolutely. Number 2.
Okay.
Accessibility. Talking about building trust between you and everybody that you do business with, whether that's an internal customer or an external customer. Accessibility. We're talking about the new currency. How accessible are you? Now, this is a particular sticking point for me, because here's a problem that I'm overcoming. All right, and I'm going to share this. I'm being transparent now with our listeners.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
all right.
The first step to recovery.
That's the first step to recovery.
Admittance.
That's it, right, and I'm admitting it. I go out and I do speaking engagements. And I go and do speaking engagements and seminars and trainings and things like this. Inherently, when I'm done, my cell phone literally fills up with messages and shuts down. That's literally what happens. And it takes a week, sometimes 10 days, to respond to all of those, because I'm not only doing the work that comes after. When you're a teacher, trainer, or something like that, folks, your work actually starts after the seminar or event.
Oh, yeah.
That's when the work really starts. In the training, there's things going on and you're doing some things, but in our business, the work really starts afterwards. So not only do I have to do the work, but then I have to respond to all the calls that come from it. And some of it's fun stuff where people are saying, man, you really opened my eyes and things like that. Yes, I do need to respond to that. But that's a sticking point. How accessible are you?
Yeah.
And guess what? That's a challenge for most of us.
Yeah, it used to be a challenge for me. It's one of the things that, my mentor was he was really on me about. He says that it just doesn't set a good business presence for you, your organization,
right.
The type of leader that you are, if every time I call you, I can't leave a message.
Right.
If that's the case, don't give out your cell phone number. That's what he would tell me.
That's right.
And I had to get better at that. So now I routinely go through and make certain that I clear those messages out and respond in a timely fashion.
Right. So you agree with me?
I totally agree with you.
Building trust, item 2, accessibility, is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Absolutely. So in talking about building trust, folks, accessibility, make sure you stay accessible to your customers and be there to answer questions, be there to address concerns when those times come up.
Communicate.
Even if you're communicating that you got to get back with them later.
Yeah.
People today, it's a big deal when you communicate, even if you're just communicating that I can't get to you now.
Absolutely.
That's okay, but you got to respond.
That's it.
And be accessible. So, number 3.
All right.
Number 3, responsiveness to the customer's needs. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of accessibility. Not necessarily.
Okay.
Accessibility, somebody's called you, you've responded and said, hey, I recognized you called, but tell me what you need, what's happening. Right?
All right.
You may not be in a position as a business person right then to respond to whatever that need is that they're communicating to you. But you do need to be responsive to that. In other words, at some point, you got to respond to that need. You've got to address it. You can't leave it hanging. That's a loose end, as it were. And if you don't respond to that, and I'm going to use the word resolve that need, if you don't resolve that need, even if it means that there's nothing you can do, but you resolve that they agree that there's nothing you can do.
And so responding to the customer, responding to the needs of the customer,
correct,
is a great element in building that trust that's necessary for you to have in order to be successful in your business.
Absolutely. Because and not only that, but folks, all these things go toward building expectations that people have, because other people are going to talk about their experience with you, more so if the experience was negative, unfortunately. But in those positive instances, it's important that you build as many of those as you can. And one of the ways you do that is being responsive to whatever the need that your customer is communicating to you.
And I kind of like following up accessibility with this point, because what is a realistic time to get back with someone when you think about it, or responding to their needs.
Sure.
Think about yourself. I mean, how many times have you been a client or a customer and you tell your story to management,
right,
or an issue that you may be having, and then days go by, you almost forget that you complained, or that you had an issue.
That's right.
And no one ever gets back with you.
Yeah.
So I think in our own business, that's a good point. We really need to be more responsive to the needs of our customers.
Oh, absolutely. And, the fourth point, John, is setting correct and realistic expectations early in the relationship. And I'm saying two key words here: correct and realistic. Okay, because let's be honest, folks. As business people, we're trying to make a sale. You can set all kinds of expectations. Are they correct? Are they realistic? Are you going to be able to live up to the expectations that you set?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
And if you're saying, when we were kids, John, we used to say yes, no, or maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, maybe so doesn't work in business. I'm reminded of a good friend of mine who says, well, I want to be in business, but I have commitment problems. And I'm like, commitment problems?
Yeah, then you don't want to be in business.
I was like, look, let me tell you something, man. You got a long ride here.
Absolutely.
Because today, people want to do business with people who are committed to doing what it is that they say they're going to do, even if they say no. But I'll get to that later in the show.
I tell you what, if you're not accessible to your client, if you're not responsive to their needs, and you're not setting the correct, realistic expectation of your product or services, I'll tell you what, you're going to have a tough time trying to do number one, which was get a list of past performance recommendations.
That's right.
So they all tie together.
That's exactly right. So when we come back, we'll talk more about this and give you more bullet points, things you can take away from today's show to help you build your business. To have your small business featured on Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes, you can call our business office at 832-460-2020 or contact us through our website at smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes, and we'll return in just a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, Disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham Dracula. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Welcome back to the show. We are talking about building trust.
The new currency.
And Irv says that trust is a new currency. And the more you talk today, the more I am buying into that concept.
Right.
Because you think about it, I said that the new currency was people.
Right.
And albeit that may be somewhat true, but if you don't develop that level of trust in your customer, in your employees,
right,
in your associates, then you're going to have issues.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important. I thought it was important that we talk about that in a show and literally dedicate a show to talking about what is the new currency going forward from 2012. When we as a people, and this is worldwide, are coming off of some of the challenges that's come up with public trust, be it banks, be it insurance companies, be it politics, in churches. Trust is a big deal, and it's the stuff that you can spend now, and if you're in business are probably going to have to spend going forward to be successful.
Well, you can't make anything move without trust, so I'm on the level with you. Now, where did we leave off?
We left off with setting expectations, setting correct and realistic expectations early.
Okay.
And another key word there too, John, is early. The higher in the relationship process that you can set those expectations, the better you're going to come out.
I would agree.
Downstream.
Don't set the realistic expectation after my check has cleared.
Yeah.
That's not the right time.
That is not the right time.
You tell me up front.
Right.
Don't wait till my check clears. It's going to take 12 weeks for delivery. Like, no, if I knew that, I wouldn't have wrote you a check for $5,000.
That's right. Yeah. And then, because it begs the question now, why didn't you tell me that?
Why didn't you tell me
that? You could have just told me that.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, that was number 4. Number 5. We're going through the countdown.
The 12 steps to building trust.
That's right. Number 5. Willingness to assume full responsibility for customer satisfaction.
Now, that's a big one.
That's a big one, isn't it?
That's a big one.
Full responsibility. A lot of organizations, John, take away power from employees or customer-facing employees when they get the opportunity to fix a problem. They're not empowered to do so. For example, a customer comes in. They have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They have an issue, whatever that issue might be. And now the first person they talk to is probably one of those customer-facing employees.
Mm-hmm.
In your organization, is your employee empowered to address that need, address that problem? Are they or are they not? If they're not, now what?
Yeah. And I think that, and every business is different, but for the most part, I think that you do want to give your employee the power not only to address an issue, but to resolve that issue. There has to be some level of power given to your employees to take advantage, because the way I look at it, Irv, is that when there's conflict between a customer and your business, it's really an opportunity.
It really is.
It's an opportunity for you to stand out from your competition.
It really
is. And your employee has to have the ability to make things right for the customer.
That's right. And your employee is only going to be empowered based on you as the owner or the leader. It's going to be rooted in your willingness to do that.
Yeah.
They have to know and be confident that you are willing to assume responsibility that customer is satisfied. And when you have an organization where that's not the case, you're going to have employees who are going to be worried about how to go about addressing a particular satisfaction issue when they're concerned that management, if they do take action, if they do make decisions, if they
could be reprimanded.
They could be reprimanded because they know management is not in a position where they, or have taken a position where they're unwilling or unable to assume responsibility for that satisfaction.
If you want to take the wind out of a client's sails, when they complain to you about something, immediately admit fault if fault lies with you.
And if fault lies with you.
Yes. So if I mean, if I tell a client today, you know what, you're absolutely right, that's our fault. We're the reason why such and such did not happen as intended. Right. But I tell you what we're going to do is we're going to make this right.
That's correct.
You have just taken all of the fight out of them, and now they're an open, willing party to you trying to do something to make things right for them.
That is exactly right.
All right.
That is exactly right. And I want to make sure we drive home the point that if you find that your company has caused some discomfort and you really are at fault, and certainly address that. Don't try to skate around it. There's no way around it. Deal with it, hit it head on, and you'll be respected for it, even though it might be a strenuous situation.
I agree.
Okay, so number 6. You like number 6?
I love number 6.
Number 6, folks, setting a precedent of consistency with customer policies and procedures.
Now, be specific on that, because some people hear that, but they can't really relate that to how they do business.
Setting a precedent. If you adopt a set of customer policies and procedures, in other words, we will answer the phone this way. When someone comes in the door, we will greet them this way. We will handle their issues this way. We will address them in this manner. We will handle how they operate within the confines of our business in this particular manner. This is our set of policies. And if a customer is doing something or asking a question of us that operates outside of our policies, what will we do? Will we acquiesce to that?
Well, you know what I'm reminded of as you talk about this is the issue with Progressive Insurance.
Progressive Insurance
not wanting to pay the insurance policy for one of their own clients who was I don't know if you're abreast of the situation, but they had an insured person that was a client of theirs who was killed in a auto crash.
Okay.
She paid for a policy that if the other driver was at fault and underinsured, Progressive would come in and pay any additional damages and cover whatever the costs were. Well, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, wow.
And Progressive went to court and stood on the side of the person who was at fault during the crash and argued that their insured was in fact at fault.
Wow.
The brother goes online, and I think he went on his Tumblr account, and he said that, don't use something to, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have it written in front of me, but it was something to the effect that, don't use Progressive because they will go to court and stand on the side of the other party and say that you were at fault and not pay your claim. Well, that went viral. And so now, here's the crazy part. They paid claims to the other side already, because they felt that the other side was not at fault.
Yes.
And then now, to fix this issue, they had to go ahead and work something out with the family, and they had an undisclosed settlement. So they ended up paying out claims on both sides of the accident. And now, how does something like that become part of your consistency? Because you consistently don't want to run into a situation like this.
Well, that is a nightmarish example, first of all. And somewhere in there, I'm going to bet you that they deviated from what their customer policies were because, or perhaps at the behest of some legal professional. I'm going to throw that in because that's generally what causes companies to break from whatever their customer policies and procedures are. That's an instance where that can happen. And what I'm saying is setting a precedence where you will not move, even folks, even if it's going to be costly and sacrificial and sometimes that's what happens. And I'm going to give you an example of a particular client that I work very closely with. Had a situation. They were in a construction business. Something happened on a construction site, on a job.
Mm-hmm.
The construction company, is backed up or guaranteed by what's called a bonding company. In other words, the bonding company pays money if the company fails to perform. Mm-hmm. A series of circumstances happened on the job site that inhibited the company from performing. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the project owner now went after the construction company's bonding company, and the bonding company had to pay. Guess what the construction company did? They paid the bonding company all 100% of the money back to protect the bonding company.
Really?
Because they were found to be at fault. The company was found to be at fault for this incident that happened. So the construction company, rather than
lose their relationship
with their bonding company, their partner, the company that allowed them to even get these kinds of jobs, they then bit the bullet, so to speak, stuck to their guns, took care of the bonding company, and guess what? Today they're still in business and very profitable.
You know, and I like hearing stories like that because these are companies that, in my opinion, have set policies and procedures,
correct,
and that are consistent in and of themselves. But what's even more is that they're consistent on behalf of the other party.
Right.
You know, just like there's a restaurant here called Papado's. One of the things that I love about Papado's is that if you don't like the meal,
absolutely,
they will take it off of, even if you've eaten it.
Yeah, even if you've eaten it.
Even if you've
That's
eaten
right.
it, they will take it off your bill, no questions asked. Because you know what that belief, I call that, lose the sale, not the customer.
That's exactly right. Because what then is the lifetime value of a customer?
Whenever I think seafood, Papado's is where I go. And they're not a paid sponsor.
No, they're not, but they perhaps should be.
So that lets you know I really mean that. So, I mean, I agree with that. Be consistent, but think about your customer in your consistency. If you're going to set those policies, they have to be policies that definitely benefit your customer.
Absolutely. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes, and it's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine and our good friends at Sales Nexus. If you have not gotten your free trial copy of Sales Nexus, that's a CRM that can help you grow your business. You can do so at salesnexus.com. We'll be right back with more on the new currency. Don't go away. Stay with us.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
excuse me, heavy news?
You know, Disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan. The storm's coming. The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at svtmagazine.net. Here are your hosts, Cruise and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about building trust, and trust is definitely the new currency,
No doubt.
of the 21st century. And you have to have a high level of trust built up not only in your customers, but also the people that you employ, your associates or your partners, as well as the people who invest or loan money to your organization. So we're talking about the 12 steps that are necessary for you to have in order to build that trust account up with the people that you touch in your business.
That's right.
If you want to join the conversation, you can always do so by calling us at 347-857-3958. Again, that number is 347-857-3958, or you can go straight into the chat room right inside of Blog Talk Radio, and our producer, Stephen K., will definitely give some answers to you guys. So, all right, let's go. We left off at number 6, and 6 was setting a precedent of consistency with customer policies and procedures.
That's right.
Now we're at number 7.
Number 7, adoption of a written return or guarantee policy. Written return or guarantee
So
policy.
you mean that I should not be doing different things for different clients?
No.
Depending on how much money you spent,
No.
how often you shop.
No.
Are you sure
No,
about that?
no, I'm positive about that. I am absolutely positive about that. Folks, look, whatever it is you can't do for 100 customers, don't do for one.
Wow.
All right? So you need to have a written guarantee policy or return policy or whatever you...
Should that be published on my website?
Sure, you can publish that. Of course publish that. Of course publish that. Absolutely.
Now, you know that there are a lot of companies or a lot of business owners.
Won't do it.
They don't want to do it simply because their policy is a sliding scale.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's what I'm saying.
It depends on how big a customer you are, how frequent you are,
Right.
how loyal.
Right. And I say, you know what, if that's the case and you're doing that, see point number 6. All right?
Consistency.
That's right, because you're
inconsistent.
You're inconsistent, and guess what? That does not build trust, because you're not setting a precedent.
Especially when, I don't know if you've ever had this problem or not, but it can be quite embarrassing when one client finds out that they didn't pay the same price.
Wow.
Or they weren't treated the same as another client.
Sounds like a bank.
That can be embarrassing. Yes, it does.
It does sound like a bank.
Because I'm gonna tell you, have you ever noticed, even when it comes to banks,
Right.
am I the only guy on my street that's paying 15%?
That's right.
You know, everybody else is always like, yeah, man, I got 1.nothing%
Right,
financing
right.
for 80 years.
Right.
I'm like, really? Am I the only one?
That's exactly right. Well, so folks, adopt a written return or guarantee policy. It's vital to your business, and don't be shy about publishing that. And the only reason why I believe a business, John, would not be willing to publish that is because they're going to be inconsistent in how they apply that. And I think it sends a bad message.
Yeah.
I really do.
Especially if you sell items on the internet, you definitely want to have a policy like that.
Absolutely. Number 8, John, willingness to add value when and wherever possible. Now, when I say add value...
Do you mean give something away for free?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying add value. For example, does it add value when you're doing business, even on the internet, that someone makes themselves easily accessible to answer a question? Does that add value?
Yes,
or
it
does
does.
that take away value?
No, that adds value.
Absolutely, it adds value. So now, how much does that cost? I don't know.
Whatever you pay an employee for 10 or 15 minutes.
Right, but it's not something that's a direct cost in that transaction, is my point.
Right.
All right. So that's adding value. Adding value is maybe having a pleasing personality. How much value does that add? How many times have you been into a business or gone into a business transaction with someone who you're pretty sure wishes you weren't there? All right. Does that add or take away value if they're
Does the DMV count?
No. Listen, they need a whole. Those folks need a whole course
on customer service,
just customer service, because it's pretty clear that number one, they don't care that you're there, and number two, they really wish you weren't.
Yeah, and they don't want to be there either.
No,
so.
Nobody wants to be there.
But adding value, I guess when you look at it, one of the things you just mentioned was customer service. So it could be said that a high level of customer service is one way to add value to your product or service, even if you are slightly higher than what your average customer sells for. I'm sorry, your average competitor.
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you a good example. Particular restaurant here in Houston. We pull up to the restaurant. It's raining, right?
Right.
The hostess is inside the door,
mm-hmm.
but the hostess comes out with 2 umbrellas.
Awesome.
That added value.
Yeah.
I hadn't bought a meal yet.
Yeah.
But I want to now.
Absolutely. And a bottle of wine.
And a bottle of wine. And a tip.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was the first person that I interacted with at that restaurant, but they came out with an umbrella. All right? That added value.
Interesting.
How much did that cost the restaurant? I
Nothing.
don't know. Maybe the cost of an umbrella. Maybe there was 2 umbrellas left
behind.
Left behind, but no, I don't know that.
Yeah.
The point is that added value.
You know, you could take the time and look at your business from an outside window. I would like to say.
Sure.
You know, look at your business as though you were a client.
Right.
What ways could you think of? How many ways could you think of that could add value to your product or service? What could you give in addition to the product or service that you currently provide that would only make the buying experience that much more enjoyable?
And I would venture to guess, and no, let me back up, folks. I want to challenge you to find out what those value added elements would be and make sure that they don't cost you anything at all.
Or something very nominal.
That would be the challenge.
Yeah.
No, I'd say don't cost anything, because I think a lot of those things that would add value today don't have to cost anything because so many people are doing so poorly in this area.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Your competitors are probably not doing as good a job as you could do. That's the point.
You know, you gave an example about Nordstrom's
a
few weeks ago in terms of a high degree of customer service.
Right, about my shirt.
And I have to say that I have a Nordstrom's story also, whereby I purchased 2 pairs of slacks from them because I did not have time to try them on, but they were on sale and I definitely didn't want to miss the sale. So I purchased both pair and took them home. The salesperson called me at home to ask me which pair didn't fit and came and picked them up on her way to work from my office.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, I'm getting all googly inside right now just thinking about that high level of customer service, and that adds so much value that doesn't cost anything.
It adds a huge amount of value. Number 9, good faith effort, John, to resolve disputes. Now, does that mean that you're going to always come to a resolution on a dispute? No. Did you make a good faith effort to do so, though? Yes. That builds trust. Not all the time are we as business people going to get the opportunity to resolve every issue, because some issues are going to be outside of your policies.
Right.
And that's going to give you issues because what that customer is asking for or demanding is going to operate outside of your customer policies, and you're bound by those, so you have to stick to your guns. So you're not going to always be able to resolve those. But guess what? Did you make a good faith effort to do so? Yes or no? The answer needs to be yes. You made a good faith effort to do so. When we come back...
Well, I got a comment about that when we come back.
When we come back, John Cruise is going to talk about a good faith effort to resolve disputes, and were those efforts real or not. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes, brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. Stay with us. We're in the home stretch. The education continues in a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan.
The storm's coming.
The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Guthrum Jerkading. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, for the sake of time, I had this eloquent story that I was going to tell about the last point that you just brought up, but I'm going to save that for another show because Irv does want to get through these points in today's hour. So, Irv,
Yes.
fire away.
Okay, so you know what? Let's do this. Let's go through the last 3.
All right.
10, 11, and 12. What do you
Okay,
say?
let's
All
do
right?
it.
Okay, number 10. Know when to say no, folks, and then stay with it. If you say no, believe it or not, that consistency is helpful to you. You will be able to get business, just as much business, I'd venture to say, by what you will not do as long as you stick to your guns. When you say no to a particular request of a customer because it operates outside of your company's policies and procedures, stay with it. No means no. All right? Number 11, paying attention to detail. It's important that you pay attention to detail, folks, when you're dealing with your customers. Why? Because it's the small details that add value and build trust with your customers. Because you got to remember, in today's business environment, most of your customers' expectations are not that high. Sorry. They aren't that high.
But that's a good thing.
And that's a good thing because when
It's an opportunity there.
you pay attention to detail, now it's an opportunity for you to separate yourself from your competition. And finally, number 12, an accommodating business atmosphere. Are you willing to have the kind of atmosphere where people are comfortable doing business with you? And I'm using the word comfort.
Can I speak now?
Yes, you may.
I really like the one where you said knowing when to say no.
Yes.
I think that that is one of the most profound points on the list, because it will definitely get you respect from your customer, and your even your associates as well, your employees.
Absolutely, especially your associates and employees.
You know what? I'm sold. Building trust in your business is definitely the new currency. If you want to have more people coming in to use your product or service, you got to build that trust. And if you've missed these 12 points, definitely go to the archives and listen to this show. I want to thank you for tuning in to Small Business Today, which has been brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. To get your free copy of the magazine that we publish right here in Houston, you can go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. I'm John Cruise.
I'm Erv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. We do it Monday through Friday, every single day, just for you. Until tomorrow, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
Erv and I will be right back here tomorrow. We'll see you then.
See you then.